What if the real reason people lose respect, energy, and control over their lives isn't what happens to them, but how quickly they respond to it? Think about it. Every time you react instantly, emotionally, without reflection, you hand over a piece of your power. Not in an obvious way, not in a way you can immediately see, but in a subtle erosion of your authority over yourself. The world does not control you through force. It controls you through reaction, through the need to answer, to defend, to prove, to engage. And the more immediate your response, the less ownership you have over your inner state. But there is a different path, one that very few choose, not because it is difficult to understand, but because it requires discipline to live. It is the path of restraint, of silence, of deliberate response. And once you begin to walk it, you will realize something most people never do. Power is not in reacting. It is in choosing when not to. We live in a time where attention is constantly demanded and reaction is almost expected. Every notification, every message, every opinion invites you to engage, to respond, to involve yourself. And slowly, without realizing it, people begin to measure their presence by how quickly they react, how often they speak, how consistently they insert themselves into situations that do not truly require them. But this way of living comes at a cost, one that is rarely acknowledged. The more you respond without intention, the more fragmented your mind becomes. Your thoughts lose clarity, your emotions lose stability, and your sense of self becomes entangled with the noise of the outside world. Stoic philosophy offers a different perspective, one that is both simple and deeply challenging. It teaches that your power lies not in what happens to you, but in how you choose to respond, and more importantly, in whether you choose to respond at all. When you begin to understand this, you start to see that silence is not absence, it is control. Restraint is not weakness, it is mastery. And the less you allow the world to pull you into unnecessary reaction, the more grounded, focused, and powerful you become. 1. The illusion of control. Through reaction, most people believe that responding gives them control. They think that by answering every comment, defending every point, and reacting to every situation, they are asserting themselves, standing their ground, and maintaining authority over their lives. But in reality, the opposite is happening. Each reaction, especially the impulsive ones, is often not a choice, but a compulsion, an automatic response driven by emotion, habit, or ego. And when your behavior is driven by compulsion, you are not in control, you are being controlled. Controlled by external triggers, by other people's words, by circumstances that dictate how you feel and act. Over time, this creates a fragile internal state, one that is constantly shifting depending on what happens around you. Your mood rises and falls with external validation. Your peace is interrupted by minor inconveniences, and your focus is scattered across things that hold no real significance. This is the illusion, believing that reacting is a form of strength, when in truth it is often a sign of dependence. True control is not found in constant engagement, but in independence from the need to engage. It is found in the ability to remain steady regardless of what is happening outside of you. And until you break the habit of reacting to everything, you remain tied to a world that dictates your inner state rather than one you command from within. 2. The power hidden in the pause. There's a moment, brief, almost invisible, that exists between what happens and how you respond. Most people never notice it because they move too quickly, reacting before awareness has a chance to arise. But within that small space lies one of the greatest forms of power available to you: the pause. At first, it may feel unnatural, even uncomfortable. You may feel the urge to speak, to respond, to release the tension of the moment. But if you can learn to sit within that pause, even for a second longer than usual, something begins to change. You start to see more clearly. you begin to separate what actually matters from what simply feels urgent. The emotional charge of the situation starts to fade, and in its place, clarity begins to form. The Stoics understood that it is not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. And the pause is where those judgments can be examined, challenged, and, if necessary, discarded. It is where you reclaim authorship over your response instead of being swept away by impulse. Over time, this practice strengthens your awareness. You become less reactive, less impulsive, and far more intentional. Situations that once triggered immediate response begin to lose their grip on you. You realize that much of what once demanded your attention never truly deserved it. And in this realization, your energy becomes more focused, your mind more disciplined, and your presence more grounded. The pause, though small, becomes a gateway to a different way of living, one defined not by reaction, but by conscious choice. 3. Restraint as a form of strength. In a world that often equates expression with power, restraint is frequently misunderstood. It is seen as silence when one should speak, as passivity when one should act. But true restraint is neither silence nor passivity. It is control. It is the ability to hold your response, not because you are unable to react, but because you choose not to. There is a profound difference between suppression and discipline. Suppression is forced, uncomfortable, and often temporary. Discipline, on the other hand, is calm, intentional, and rooted in clarity. When you practice restraint, you are not denying your self-expression. You are refining it. You are choosing to speak only when your words carry purpose, to act only when your actions are aligned with your values. This level of control transforms how others perceive you, but more importantly, how you perceive yourself. You begin to trust your own judgment more deeply. You no longer feel the need to justify yourself constantly or to seek validation through reaction. Instead, you develop a quiet confidence, a sense of certainty that does not rely on external acknowledgement. Over time, this restraint strengthens your emotional resilience. You become less affected by criticism, less drawn into conflict, and less dependent on outcomes you cannot control. Your energy is no longer scattered across unnecessary engagements, but concentrated on what truly matters. And in this concentration, your effectiveness increases, your clarity sharpens, and your sense of inner stability deepens. What once felt like effort becomes natural. What once required control becomes your default state. And in that state, you begin to experience a form of strength that is not loud or forceful, but steady, composed, and deeply rooted. 4. The emergence of quiet power. As you continue to practice this way of being, pausing, restraining, choosing your responses with intention, something begins to take shape within you. It is not something you announce or display, but something that becomes evident through your presence. A quiet power. It is reflected in the way you remain calm when others are agitated, in the way you listen without needing to interrupt, in the way you observe without rushing to judge. People may not immediately understand it, but they feel it. There is a certain steadiness, a sense of control that cannot be easily disturbed. This is the power that comes from self-mastery, the ability to remain anchored within yourself regardless of external conditions. While others are pulled in different directions by every opinion, every conflict, every distraction, you remain centered, not because you are unaffected by the world, but because you are no longer controlled by it. This changes the way you move through life. You become more deliberate in your actions, more selective in your engagements, and more intentional in your focus. Opportunities that align with your values become clearer, while distractions lose their appeal. Your relationships improve because you are no longer reacting from emotion, but responding from clarity. Your decisions become stronger because they are not clouded by impulse. And gradually, without force or effort, you build a life that reflects your internal discipline. This is the essence of Stoic power, not dominance over others, but mastery over oneself. It is not about controlling the world, but about no longer needing to. And in that realization, you become something rare in a reactive world, unshakable. Conclusion: power, in its truest form, is often misunderstood. It is not found in constant expression, in winning every argument, or in proving yourself at every opportunity. It is found in restraint, in clarity, in the ability to remain composed when reaction is expected. When you begin to let go of the need to respond to everything, you create space. Space for thought, for awareness, for intention. And within that space, your mind becomes clearer, your emotions more stable, and your actions more aligned with who you truly are. You are no longer pulled in every direction by external forces. You become grounded, centered, and self-directed. The less you respond, the less you are controlled. And the less you are controlled, the more powerful you become. Not in a way that seeks attention, but in a way that commands respect without asking for it. If this message resonates with you, then you are already beginning to see what most people overlook. That true strength is built in silence, in discipline, and in the mastery of your own mind. This is what Stoic Thrive stands for: a life of intention, resilience, and quiet power. Subscribe and continue this journey, not toward becoming louder, but toward becoming stronger where it truly matters. And remember, next time you feel the urge to respond instantly, to react without thinking, to engage without purpose, pause. Because in that pause, you are not losing anything. You are reclaiming everything.